Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Ashley interview.
If you believe we've got a picture perfect plan, we've got you fooled, 'cause we only do the best we can. And sometimes we make it, sometimes we fake it, but we'll get one step closer each and every day. We'll figure it out on the way.
Today on the Ashley interview, we have three very special, extraordinary women who have certainly made their mark on the theater industry. Kathleen Marshall, Susan Stroman, and Julie Taymor. Let's dive into the incredible world of these three women, learn about where they came from, what they did to get where they are, and just how they did it. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the extraordinary Kathleen Marshall. Hello, Kathleen. It's such a pleasure to have you on the show today. Yeah, hello, hi. It's so wonderful to be here. Thank you. Could you just start off telling the audience a little bit about yourself? Well, I am a choreographer, American director, and creative consultant. I was born September 28th, 1962. My husband is Scott Landis, and we have two beautiful children, Nathaniel and Ella. Awesome. Could you tell us a little bit about your schooling and education growing up? I was born in Madison, Wisconsin. I graduated from Taylor Aldice High School in 1980, and I graduated from Smith College in 1985. I was very much involved in the Pittsburgh theater scene as a young child. I performed with a lot of theater companies such as the Pittsburgh Civic Light Opera. Now, Kathleen, what everyone is dying to hear about. What was your journey like getting from where you came from to where you are now? I would say the thing that got my foot in the door into the theater industry would be being the assistant to my brother, Rob Marshall, who at the time was the choreographer for the show Kiss of the Spider Woman in 1993. We continued working together and we collaborated on shows such as She Loves Me, Damn Yankees, Victor Victoria, and Seussical. Love Seussical. I then went on to be the artistic director for Encores, which was a bunch of staged musical revivals that took place from 1996 to 2000. Meanwhile, while that was happening, I was choreographing shows such as The Boys from Syracuse, Call Me Madam, and I directed and choreographed Wonderful Town and Babes in Arms. I later on went to become a judge on NBC's reality TV show Grease, You're the One That I Want. And it was so much fun. I had an absolute blast. And the two winners of the show, the actors that won the roles of Danny and Sandy, I got to direct them and choreograph the Grease Broadway revival. It was a lot of fun. And the cast, those two were just such a pleasure to work with. Absolutely. Wonderful Town went to Broadway in November 2003 and ran until I directed and choreographed. I was nominated for the Tony Award for Best Direction of a Musical and Choreography, and I took home the award for choreography in a musical.
Oh my god.
It was really exciting. I directed and choreographed The Pajama Game, and it opened February 2006. It was actually the first Broadway debut for Harry Connick Jr. It was such an honor to be a part of that. I directed and choreographed Cole Porter's Anything Goes, which featured Sutton Foster going into work every day and getting to create for Sutton Foster and the rest of the cast was just incredible. Such a pleasure to work with. It was nominated for the Tony Award for Best Direction and Choreography, and I took home choreography again. I directed and choreographed Nice Work If You Can Get It, which opened on Broadway April 2012. I was the director for the film adaptation of Ever After. In regards to directing musicals and directing plays, the difference in the process. With a musical, you have musical numbers, and those give you a real outline and structure of what you're going for. You might only have a 3-page scene, and the scene has to lead you into the song. It's a little more structured in that way. In a play, you can decide more. Since there are bigger arcs to cover, you're making up your own tempo in a play. Whereas in a musical, because of songs and transition and underscoring, there might be more built-in rhythm. You have pockets of your own rhythm in between, but then you get back on that ride and the rhythm takes over. How I manage my process and working with different actors. One of my own definitions in directing, figuring out what to say to who and when. You're all in a process of discovery. You may have an idea of where you're heading, but you can't just go into it. You have to find your way to it, sort of spiral into it. I always feel like I don't have to do it 8 times a week, the actors do. So what do they need to create a performance that not only can be successful and meaningful to them and to an audience, but that they can sustain over a long run? Some actors have to be very loosey-goosey, find their way to it, and some people want to get their blocking and framework and fill it. So you have to negotiate that in some ways. As a director, you're their first audience. So you're sort of giving feedback about what's going to work and what's going to work for them. When I'm going back and forth between projects, how I manage it all is, I always say that whatever room you're in, that's the room you're in. So whatever project or event you have going on that day, really try to concentrate on that and stay in the moment with that. What's fun about doing contrasting projects is that they're so different. It's fun to be thinking about 1957 New York and 16th century France. Please honor the audience with sharing some of your biggest hits and accomplishments. Oh, some of my past credits would be Kiss of the Spider-Woman, 1997, Broadway. She Loves Me, Broadway, 1993. Damn Yankees, Broadway, 1997. Call Me Madam, off-Broadway, 1995. Swinging on a Star, Broadway, 1995. 1776, Broadway, 1997. As Thousands Cheer, off-Broadway, 1998. As Thousands Cheer off-Broadway, 1998. How the Grinch Stole Christmas, 1998. Babes in Arms, Broadway, 1999. Ring Around the Moon, Broadway, 1999. Kiss Me Kate, Broadway, 1999. Saturday Night, off-Broadway, 1999. Oh, no, sorry, 2000. Wonderful Town, off-Broadway, 2000. The Frogs, Regional, 2000. Seussical, like I said before, on Broadway in the year 2000. Hair, off-Broadway, 2001. Kiss Me Kate, West End, 2001. Carnival, off-Broadway, 2002. House of Flowers, off-Broadway, 2003. Little Shop of Horrors, on Broadway, 2003. Wonderful Town, Broadway, 2003. Little Shop of Horrors, the U.S. Tour, 2004. Little Shop of Horrors, Regional, 2004. Two Gentlemen of Verona, which was off-Broadway, 2005. The Pajama Game, Broadway, 2005. 70 Girls 70, off-Broadway, 2006. Grease, on Broadway, 2007. Applause, off-Broadway, 2008. Anything Goes, Broadway, 2011. Nice Work If You Can Get It, Broadway, 2012. Anything Goes, U.S. Tour, 2012. I'm Getting My Act Together and Taking It on the Road, off-Broadway, 2013. The Unsinkable Molly Brown, Regional, 2014. The Bandwagon, off-Broadway, 2014. Living on Love, Broadway, 2015. Diner, Regional, U.S., 2015. My Paris, Regional, 2016. In Transit, Broadway, 2016. Just to name a few. Holy shit! Thank you, Kathleen. Thank you so much for being on the show today. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me on the show. I'll see you soon. She's a 5-time Tony Award winner, choreographer, and director. Please welcome to the stage, Susan Stroman. Hello, it's so lovely to be here. Thank you, thank you. Hi, Susan. It's so wonderful to have you on the show today. Tell everyone just a little about yourself. Sure. Well, I am a choreographer and director. I am best known for my work on The Producers. I was born October 17th, 1954, in Delaware. My parents are Charles and Frances Stroman. Like I said, my most famous works would be The Producers and Contact. Where did you go to school? I graduated from the University of Delaware. Please share with us some of the experiences that you've had on your incredible journey. I was first introduced to theater and music by my father, who was a piano-playing salesman, and he would play music for me, and that's how I got into it. By the age of 5, I was studying dance such as jazz, ballet, and tap. I did attend the Academy of Dance in Wilmington, Delaware. I graduated college as a theater major. I moved to New York City right after graduation in 1976. My first professional appearance was in Hit the Deck at the Goodspeed Theater in 1977. My first Broadway credit was as an ensemble member in Whoopee in 1979. In 1980, I was the assistant director, choreographer, and dance captain for the Broadway show musical Chairs. I truly wanted to direct and choreograph, so I focused my mind on that. I worked in many small venues and clubs and commercials, anything I could, as a director and choreographer, of course. My big break finally came as a choreographer in 1978. Director Scott Ellis hired me to work for his off-Broadway revival, Flora and the Red Menace. Hal Prince saw my work for his show and hired me to do the dance sequences for the New York Opera.
Oh my God.
For the production of Don Giovanni. What are some of your past accomplishments? I know there are many. My biggest accomplishments would be I have 5 Tony Awards, 2 Laurence Olivier Awards, 5 Drama Desk Awards, 8 Outer Critics Circle Awards, 5 Fred Astaire Awards, and Tony Awards for Best Direction of a Musical and Choreography for The Producers. Oh, snap! I co-created, directed, and choreographed Contact for the Lincoln Center Theater. Contact also won a 2003 Emmy Award for its PBS Live special, Live from Lincoln Center broadcast. For 10 years, I choreographed A Christmas Carol at Madison Square Garden. Wow, that's amazing! I've choreographed Little Night Music, 110 in the Shade, and Don Giovanni for the New York Opera. I created Double Feature, which was a full-length ballet for the New York City Ballet, featuring the music of Irving Berlin and Walter Donaldson. Other ballets include For the Love of Duke for the New York City Ballet, But Not for Me for the Martha Graham Company, and Take 5, more or less, for Pacific Northwest Ballet. My choreography for the HBO presentation Liza Minnelli, Live from Radio City Music Hall, got an Emmy nomination in 1992. Some of my other choreography credits would include co-conceiver and choreographer for PBS Sondheim Special, A Celebration at Carnegie Hall. I received an American Choreography Award for my work in Columbia Pictures for the feature film Center Stage. And then in 2000, I choreographed and directed The Producers movie. It was nominated for 4 Golden Globes. Some of my other past credits would include New York City Opera, Little Night Music, 1990, Liza Minnelli, Live from Radio City, You've Got Mail, Oklahoma, Center Stage, Crazy for You, Contact, A Christmas Carol, The Producers, Lear the Merry Widow, the Metropolitan Opera, HD Live. That's truly remarkable. You're an inspiration to all of us. Thank you so much, Susan. Thank you for being here today. All right, thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you. And next, please welcome the most incredible Tony Award-winning director for Disney's Broadway show, The Lion King, Julie Taymor. Julie, it's so lovely to see you again. How are you? Yes, I am Julie Taymor. Yes, I am Julie Taymor. Please tell them about yourself. Well, I am an Academy Award winning director and best known for my work in Across the Universe and The Lion King. Lion King, oh, The Lion King. I was born December 15th, 1952, yes. Newtown, Massachusetts, which is a suburb of Boston. Can you tell us a little bit about your childhood and your parents and your education growing up? My parents were Melvin and Elizabeth. From a very young age, I was interested in folklore and mythology. I had a passion for theater at a very young age. Yes, I did, yes. Age of 7, I was drawing my sister into children's stories and showing my parents. Yes, I was. By the age of 10, I was involved in the Boston's Children's Theatre. I got used to being the youngest of them. I was always the youngest in the children's group. By the time I was 11, I was going into Boston every weekend by myself. I discovered Julie Portman's workshop. So from what I see here, you have traveled to a few really remarkable places in efforts to broaden the horizons of your education. Could you please share that with us? By the age of 13, my parents sent me to India, the experiment of international living. When I was schooling there, I was exposed to mime work, and this helped me hone my physical skills. While I was in Paris, I worked with masks, and I immersed myself in film. In 1970, I enrolled in college. While in college, I sought experience of many other educational learning experiences as well. I was involved in Joseph Jacquelin's opera theater. I graduated from Oberlin College with a degree in mythology and folklore. I was a Phi Beta Kappa, if I do say so myself. And upon graduation, I was presented with Watson's Fellowship Award. This award allowed me to travel to Japan and Indonesia in 1975 to 1979. There I developed my own mask and dance company. My company traveled throughout Indonesia with 2 original productions. In 1980, I did meet my long-term collaborator, Elliot Guntenthal. And I know you are a woman of accomplishments. Could you please share a few with us? My biggest success would have to be my award-winning work for Best Direction of a Musical for Disney's The Lion King. The Lion King. It did receive 11 Tony nominations. Spectacular! Including Best Costume Design. Later on, I went to work on a musical adaptation of Spider-Man, featuring the comic book hero, the film character, yes. Bono and The Edge wrote music for that show. I was fired from that production due to too many last-minute changes. But that's how theater works. It's always changing. They can't ridicule me for that. They can't. Eventually, I did sue and we both settled out of court. Really? You sued them? Well, eventually. I have returned to film, and I'm working on an adaptation by William Shakespeare. In my thank you speech when I won Best Director for a musical for Disney's The Lion King, I did give a special thank you to my parents. When I was a young girl, they always allowed me to have free imagination and to play, play, play. Thank you to my parents. And that concludes today's episode of the Ashley Interview. Thank you so much for watching. Come along with us on our next adventure, and we see you real soon. Bye. I actually can't. I have rehearsal.